What is going on, everybody? Joey Talks Boxing. I want to talk about Lennox Lewis. Everyone always brings up the greatest of all time, and it's really unclear what that means. Does it mean accomplishments? Does it mean who you beat, your resume, just how many wins you have, cultural significance, pound for pound, etc.? And those are all fine ways to look at greatest, and it really depends on what your definition is. But when it comes down to it, just in the most primitive and pure competitive sense, to me, the greatest of all time, in a way, you could just really say is who would have beaten the most amount of people. So that really eliminates every fighter who's not a heavyweight. So really, the greatest of all time is just a heavyweight, and we don't have these weight classes to isolate and to enhance the smaller fighters to be as good as the bigger fighters. We don't get to say, well, if this guy was this size, then he would have beaten this guy. We don't do that in other sports. In other sports, we don't say, well, if this person was faster, he'd be better than this guy. Well, if this person was taller, he'd be better than this guy. Well, if this person was this, that, or whatever. But in boxing, we do that. And the reason we do that in boxing is because size matters so much in boxing, more so than in any other sport. And MMA, I'm saying. In fighting, size matters just so much more. That's why there are weight classes, because the weight matters a lot. It's very significant. So I say that to say this. When we talk greatest of all time, or really just best of all time, I'm looking at it right now and saying, who would win a head-to-head tournament? We put all the greatest fighters in history at their weight. So really, it's all the greatest heavyweight fighters in history. But let's even say all the fighters in history. When they fought at their best, at their weight, who would win a tournament? And to me, it's Lennox Lewis. I think Lennox would have won a tournament. I think that Lennox is the size, the power, the boxing ability, the toughness. Him under Emmanuel Stewart, I think, is the ultimate head-to-head champion. Now, I know he got knocked out twice by one punch, so he's vulnerable to upsets. It's possible. But if I had to bet, that probably doesn't happen. One of them was before he was really fell into his, got into his stride. The Alvin McCall one, he wasn't Lennox Lewis yet, at the level that I'm talking about. And the second one was the Hasim Rahman fight when he was doing that movie for Ocean's 11. He was fighting like an idiot in that round. He bounced off the ropes, and Hasim Rahman caught him with the bomb. The rest, we know he got knocked out. But he avenged both those losses, and especially the Rahman one, which was in his prime, and dominated him in his prime. So do I think he would have beaten Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis at his best? Yes. Do I think he would have beaten Larry Holmes at his best? Yes. Do I think he would have beaten the modern-day fighters like Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk at his best? Yes, I do. Lennox Lewis, head-to-head, is the greatest heavyweight of all time, which means you're the greatest fighter of all time. So Lennox Lewis is the real GOAT. Peace.